Hey, it's Joel.
Helmet still fits. Yay. Helmets are good. New York Maker Faire is almost here. We need to get all of these Adafruit parts that I've ordered, soldered up, tested, and put into the helmet. Let's not wait. Let's do it. I'm Joel. This is 3D Printing Nerd. We're almost to the finish line. It's so close. We have all of these parts from Adafruit that have arrived. And here's my plan. I've got my computer right here, and I've put the Arduino IDE development environment onto it, and I've also added the Adafruit Neopixel library, and I've added the JSON string to import the different Adafruit boards, specifically this one. This is an Adafruit Feather 32U4 Bluefruit LE. So it's an incredible board, and it allows, well, one of the things it's gonna do, it's gonna allow me to do a lot of cool stuff with these Neopixels, but it's low energy Bluetooth, it's USB, it can be an HID device. It's crazy what it has. There'll be a link in the description. You can get yours from Adafruit. They're not expensive at all, and they're a lot of fun. So here's what I've done so far. These Neopixels, this is a strip of Neopixels right here, and the ends have wires. One is ground, one is power, one is data. And the Neopixels, they have a data direction, that little arrow right there, but it means that there's data in and there's data out. We need to put it on the data inside so that it can spread. Each LED within the strand is addressable, which is really exciting. I have this little lithium battery right here. The Bluefruit acts as a charger for it, which is great over USB. And now let's hook it up to the computer. Let's poke some things and let's see what happens. There we go. These are not soldered in. I just twisted the wiring and stuck it through as a test, and then I will solder these once we verify everything is good to go. Okay, let's hook up the battery because we need power for those pixels. A couple of them did turn on. That's good. So now what I want to do is load a sketch, and Adafruit includes these default test ones, and it's called the strand test. And so it loads up a sketch where I can define the number of LEDs that I want to play with in the strip, and then it'll cycle through red, through green, through blue, and through different animations. So just a sec. It looks like this test is working. It looks like all of my Adafruit Neopixels within this strip are working. I'm kind of excited about this. The idea is I want to fit all of these into, or as much of these as I can, within the big helmet. I do have, these are a Neopixel ring. And if I bring my helmet over here, the rings can go on right like that. They're built for this helmet. There we go, they kind of fit in like that. I did the measurements when I sized this up, and there was gonna be no problems. So I'll be able to mount those right there. Okay, we verified that the Neopixels work in the strip. So now what we need to do is measure how many I need per line. There's 240 in total. So I need to measure, there's a height here. I need to measure how many I can fit along this visor. And then once I do that, I can snip and solder together and then tape them together. I'm essentially gonna make my own little pixel grid. And then I load the sketch that has the different animations for it. And it'll also give me control via my phone, via Bluetooth low energy. And oh my gosh, this is exciting. Let's get it done. Whoa, 20. There's gonna be 20 across the first one. Well, what I could do, you know, I could measure from the bottom just so the grid is the same. There's 17 per row on the grid. So there's a little mark right there. You kind of see that cutting needs to be happening. So here we go. So we expose that part. No problem. Look at that. That's a good cut. What's great about these Neopixels, they have this plastic around them. So you can, as long as you seal up the ends, you could use these in the rain, which is great here in Seattle because it rains here. Okay, I think that's correct. So what I want to do is take these, line them up, and then tape the backs. There we go. Let's take a look at this. Oh, it's perfect. Okay. Now I got a lot of soldering ahead of me. I will solder some ends onto here, which will go to this connector, which will go to this battery, and I will break this and solder in this switch ahead because I want to be able to turn this on and off. But from there, then it'll go here, and then ground, power, and data will kind of go this way. and then it'll go this way, and then this way, and then, oh shoot. Oh, I did it wrong. Good thing I double checked. I do have these little tiny wires that I got from Adafruit, but I'm gonna save these, and I'm gonna use some of this wire, or at least try to, because I have a bunch of it, and it'll be easy, I hope. I'll need some connectors. 1, 2, okay, 2 on that side, and 1, 2 on that side. So this is gonna be for power and for ground. And then I'll cut another length of wire that'll be for data. Oh, this will totally work. This is my soldering iron. It does heat up pretty quick. Oh, I have these. I got some helping hands. There we go. Let's see if that helps. Oh, look at that. I can kind of see it. Brilliant. Wait a minute, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Soldering's not really my thing when it comes to these things. So what I'm going to do is do my best. I'm gonna do my best. I've got it set up, kind of working, and I'll leave it at that. I'm gonna make the data wires a little bit longer because why not? It's a good way to distinguish them from the other wires. You can kind of see the horror show that is my soldering job. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 more to go. Well, I've got my first connection done, and it's not terrible. I mean, as long as it works. As long as it works, right? Let's back this up. Let's try it out. I still have the code on here that allows me to do that little test. So let's see, I just have to connect up ground. I need to hook up battery, just right there. Okay, and then I need to put this into pin 6. Pin 6, right there. And actually, I'm gonna put different code on here because I've reduced the number of LEDs. They're blinking, they're doing stuff. That's good. So I'm gonna change the number of pixels from 240 to 17 times 2, which is 34. And then let's just plug in power, which should then run the uploaded sketch. It's working. Oh, this is awesome. Okay, this is a kick in the pants right here. Work it harder, make it better, do it fast. Okay, this is fun. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna get the rest of these solder up and then I'll turn on the camera when it's time for the big test. We're done! I got them all soldered up. That's amazing. I really thought I was gonna have more difficulties there. I know that my soldering irons are just terrible, just awful. And one of the things I want to do is get better tools, at least for soldering. So what I'm going to do is plug this in to run a test. And if it tests correct and I don't have to fix anything, I'm going to put a drop of hot glue at the end of each of these, because then things will be sealed up and wires won't break off, and I think it'll just be a little bit better. So let me get this hooked up. Let me get this hooked up and then we'll see. So we've got 17 in a row and we've got 5 rows. So that is, let's see, 5 times 7, 85. 85 LEDs. I'll update the program. We'll see what happens. Plug in my battery. Yeah! Yeah! You seeing that? You seeing that? Oh! Yes! Oh. I'm so pumped right now. I'm so pumped. I'm gonna clean up a little bit. I'm gonna get the hot glue gun out. We're gonna glue. I'm gonna attach some leads and then we're gonna put it in the helmet. Yes! Cleaning up, cleaning up, cleaning up, cleaning up, cleaning up. Ends are hot glued. I don't know if that's really required, but it just felt like something that was right to do. I mean, they're gonna be in the helmet. They're not gonna be moving around. I'm not gonna take these in and out. They're not gonna flex a whole bunch. They're gonna flex to a point and then hopefully just stay in there. All right, I will unplug this and then we will work on forming these up on the back so that we can test fit it into the helmet. My idea is that top row, it's kind of connected right here and it can't move. And so as long as I line up everything with the top row, I should be at least somewhat of a grid pattern. Let's hope. There we go. Everything's taped. That's not too shabby right there. Okay, so there's the inside of the helmet. That'll fit, no problemo. I won't be able to see out of it. I don't care at this point. I honestly don't care at this point because it's just gonna be awesome. Well, we verified fit. Now I need to create some leads on it. I need to create some leads off of here. I'm gonna need to then solder it to the feather and then this connector that goes between the battery and the feather. What I'm gonna do is interrupt that with this switch. So switch, interrupting on the positive, battery, feather gets soldered into these, and I've got this extra wire to run from here to here. Let's get it done. Now we need to prepare the wire. We don't really need that much because it's all gonna be contained within the helmet. So let's just take that much. I mean, we have plenty and this wire is easy enough to conceal. So not too worried about it. And this will be power and ground. And I will take the ends off there, and I will twist them up. I know that we can do some crazy things where we braid together wires, but in this case, I don't think we need to do that. I think all I need to do is join these with some solder, and then I will wrap it up. I don't have any heat shrink tubing right now, but I do have the Gorilla Tape, and that stuff will never let go. Ever, ever, ever. Probably a better way to do this, but this is Gorilla tape, I guess. It's sticky, so I just need a smidge. When you don't have heat shrink tubing, this not a bad idea. For the ground wires, I'm gonna do something different. I'm gonna trim it back like this. And then I will use one to latch onto the other. There we go, we've got it. It's latched on. That's probably better. I hope this is correct. I've always learned that you don't want to put solder on the soldering iron unless you're going to tin it. You want to use the soldering iron to heat up where you want the solder to go, and then you place the solder on that. Now we need to take these and we need to attach them to the feather. It shouldn't be difficult. Soldering on that should be a little bit more easy than what I've been doing, I think. This isn't the best soldering iron, but it should do. That's a good connection. Now to place battery. I'm using too much solder. But with practice, I will get better. Last but not least, this is gonna go to pin 6, which is right here. So there's 5, there's 9, that's 6. No problem. Let's see, I've got the feather soldered in. These are all soldered up. Now, for the battery, I need to break this connection and put a switch in so I can just have the battery connected and I can turn it off and on when it's in the helmet. It's gonna be simple. Let's plug this in. I have a working circuit. So the battery connector, I interrupted the power and put it on a switch, and then I soldered lines to my feather board, and then I soldered all of the Neopixels. Let's get it in the helmet. First test. In. Is it cool? Right. Can you see that? You can't see that. Oh, and it fits on my head. Oh my gosh. Let's load the Bluefruit library on so I can control it with my phone and let's see what happens. I did it. I did it. Sorry about the audio there for a bit. Hopefully Sean was able to make it sound okay and you could understand me. But in my excitement to get back to this, I forgot to hit record on my audio recorder, which made me sad. But what I have done is I have downloaded the source from the tutorial. I've installed the appropriate libraries in order to access the Neopixels, which I already had, and the Bluetooth low energy, which I didn't have. Let's turn it on. I see the Adafruit Bluetooth low energy. I'm gonna connect. Button number 1. Has a little kind of blinky thing there. Okay. Oh, okay. M4 does that, and then does up to. And the other buttons do anything else? No? How about, oh, it says the color picker will work. Oh, it is working. We did it. We did it. We got it installed. We got it working. We got the right source code. So now, because I have some time before New York Maker Faire, it means that there are other things that I can be doing. Maybe I could augment the sketch. I essentially made myself a 17x5 LED grid of Neopixels. That's gotta be worth something. So I will look into maybe adding some functionality to the sketch and maybe making it sound reactive or doing some, I don't know. There's lots of things that I could do. If you have any suggestions, leave them down in the comments down below. Of course, I'm gonna be in New York for Maker Faire. There's gonna be a bunch of people that probably know about this way better than I do. I'm sure I'll get some suggestions there. Wait, stop everything. So I've taken this a little further. I've been playing with Neopixels, as you saw just in this video, but I've also been doing stuff with Neomatrix, which, if this is working, allows me to do some fun tricks. Is it on? It is on! Okay, you should be seeing a 3D right there. Neopixels can be arranged in what's called a Neomatrix, and it expects certain things. The problem is, when I wired up, I just wired back and forth. But because I've got 5 rows and I've got 17 columns, essentially, I could create a grid. And a grid can show things like letters, numbers, graphics. It all has to be programmed in, and thanks to Adafruit, we have the Neomatrix class, which allows us to do this really easily. But you have to make your grid a specific way. So what I did, as you saw in the video, I went this way, and then this way, and then this way, and then this way, following the data direction. Remember, data in, data out. And it goes one way, and you just have to follow it like water coming out of a hose. But what the Neomatrix expects is going, well, let's see, this way, and then the next in line is over here, this way, this way. So it's rows and columns, and it expects the data direction to be going the same way across all rows or across all columns. And so what I need to do is modify this, and there's an easy way to do it. When we put our display, our grid together, I wired up these ends, right? All of these leads on the end actually connect up to the Neopixel strips, which makes us solving our problem pretty easily. Because what I can do, instead of desoldering and running wires back and forth, what I can do is just clip the affected wires and then attach jumpers across. It's going to be a little bit more messy, which is fine, but it's just going to take a little bit more time. So let's do this. Zigzag. This is the thing I didn't know. So part of learning means that you acquire more information as time goes on. And when I made the decision to snip the wires and make these big long jumpers to either side so that I had progressive rows, I didn't read further into the documentation, because in the documentation there's something called zigzag. And if you bring about the Neomatrix library and you say it's a zigzag pattern, then it knows that the Neopixels go back and forth, which I didn't read. But, you know, don't fear, don't feel sad for me, don't make fun of me, because this is still a good exercise in soldering practice. And I don't know, maybe it'll work better, maybe not. But regardless, everything's gonna work fine. It's gonna be awesome. Just remember that as you learn, new information will come about, and that new information could make things easier for you. No way! No way! Look at this, look at this. 3DPN. 3DPN. Yes! Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad I took the time to do this. Oh, listen, everybody out there, I just It's not hard. This isn't hard. You just need to just dedicate a little bit of time to this, just a little bit here and there, and this stuff is learnable. I had no idea how to work Arduino stuff before this, but there are tons of tutorials on the Adafruit website. There are tons of examples everywhere. In fact, I found this. It's a link on Twillio, the Twillio blog by Brent Schooley, back May of 2015, and it light up your hack pack with the Adafruit Neomatrix library. And the examples given in that were what I could plug into here, and then they were doing it with an 8x8 grid. I'm doing it with a 17x5 grid, and I was able to adapt it, and it works. It works. I will remount it. I will make sure everything's visible. I'm going to tuck the wires a little bit better, but I am ecstatic at this point. Thank you. Thank you if you made it this far in this video. You're awesome. I'm happy to be getting back to some of my roots. I do need to tell you that. That is fantastic. Listen, thanks again for all your support. Subscribe if you're not, and ring that bell to be notified of when really cool stuff like this is uploaded to the channel. And, oh God, you know what? Don't forget to hug each other more, because I really love you guys. I'm so excited. As always, high five.